Welcome everybody to the live composing show. My name is Stephen Melin. Hope you're doing fabulous here today. Over here on the East Coast, it's morning time, 10 o'clock. So still waking up over here. But yeah, I hope you guys are doing wonderful. Today we're going to be kind of hitting at a lot of angles because it was one of those few moments where all three of my businesses kind of collide into one. So obviously me as a composer, Stephen Melin, I write music for custom games and such, or custom music for games. And then Video Game Music Alliance is the education platform and community that many of you here are already a part of. And today we're actually doing a composing challenge with the Legend of Dragoon, which is a really wonderful JRPG from the 90s. And we're going to be doing a gameplay clip from there with the music turned off, with the sound effects on, and that's going to be a really cool thing. And so we have members in our group, and there's actually a link right there below for those of you interested, the VGM Alliance. So we have composing challenges each month, and so there's a group of us working on our own rescores of different scenes from the game, which is pretty cool. And then the third element is obviously Simple Samples audio, which many of you might be here for that. And that is where I create contact instruments that are very simple. They're high in quality, but simple and low in footprint. So it's typically one patch or maybe a few patches, but they're all highly designed to be for a very specific use case. And I have found in my journey as a composer over the last, almost 2 decades now, that the patches that I usually go to when I'm writing music are the simple ones. It's the ones where I know the exact sound I'm going to get out of it. And we're going to be experiencing that today as I rescore a scene from The Legend of Dragoon, where it's a simple palette. I know exactly what I want. So like if I know I want a flute sound or a bassoon sound or a kalimba or strings, right? I know exactly what I want in my head, so I know which library to grab to get that sound to play the way that I want it to. So I think that there's great value in having sample libraries that do one thing exceptionally well without all the bells and whistles and the distractions and like the extra knobs you don't need, the extra functions you don't need. And ultimately, it just weighs down your session. It makes it large and gross. Like I like to have a lean, mean session that has like exactly what I need and nothing more, right? So good morning to many of you here today. We have Lloyd, Bailey, Matt, Micah, a bunch of others popping in here today. This is going to be a really interesting stream because, like I said, it combines those three worlds together for me. And anytime I can combine my worlds together, it's a good day. So first and foremost, let's do this. For those of you unaware, and maybe those of you inside Video Game Music Alliance may not even be aware of this yet, but we recently added a section inside VGMA called Sound Effects Only Game Clips. So these are games from my library that I've been capturing at 1080p, 60 frames, and it's about 30-ish games at the moment, and the list is growing each week, and the goal is to just represent all the major game genres. Obviously, this is not a representation of every game ever, but the goal is maybe to get this to 100 strong and beyond of kind of the greatest hits in video game history. And the goal would be, as we're doing these composing challenges and as new members join, if they need footage of gameplay, really good quality footage from these classic games, they want to put their music to it, or they want to score it for their own live streams or for their own homework assignments and things, they can take these clips. Like you might want to grab Paper Clay or Sonic Mania or Berserk Boy, whatever, and you grab this clip and it already has the sound effects in it but not the music. You put your music into it and then use that for your portfolio, for your demo reel, or when you're pitching to a game developer. This is one of the coolest ways to get a gig because you are practically showcasing that you can write in a certain style. And the goal here is to represent all the major types of games. Adventure games, fighting, Metroidvanias, platformers, puzzle games, RPGs, racing, sandbox, shooter, Souls-like, strategy. And I'm sure we'll add more genres as we go. But yeah, that's the idea, is we want to represent. So this is kind of our inaugural episode today where we're starting the composing challenges with these clips. And it also just happens to be when we're releasing simple felt piano with simple samples. So I figured why not join all those things together if possible, right? Hey, good morning, Dan. And yeah, that's kind of what's going on here today. So the other thing we should know is right now, Simple Felt Piano just released it. It was already super cheap. I really do try to make these as cheap as possible for you guys. It was already cheap at $49, but now intro price 40% off for the next little while. Simple Felt Piano, it's only $29 US dollars right now. So hopefully that's just a no-brainer. If you like the sound of it, grab it. Be forewarned that this piano, just like all pianos, will not work in all contexts. There is a context for this. This is for delicate, warm, intimate types of music. This is not going to work in rock music. This isn't going to work in big orchestral sweeping scores. This is like, I mean, you could work with an orchestra, but this is like soundtrack, delicate, beautiful, close. And the description here, I think, encapsulates it perfectly. Simple Felt Piano captures the warm, delicate tone of an upright piano with its casing removed, muted with cloth, and recorded up close with 5 mics. So here is a little picture of my recording session I did. So there's 5 microphones here, and it's very intentional. So there's 2 mics up front. These are the SE8s, SE Audio. So those are small condenser mics right there. Really, really good for capturing the kind of the pluckiness of the keys and the hammers. And then I put cloths on top of the strings. That way when these hammers, which already have felt on them, when they hit the strings, they're actually hitting the cloth, and it's a very subdued, muted sound. And then behind the piano, you can kind of see right there, behind the piano are 2 SM57s, which are dynamic microphones, which basically means you could play as loud as you want and it will still capture the sound. And so it's really good for capturing the lows, those low boomy frequencies in the back of the piano that typically you wouldn't want to use like a hi-fi condenser mic to capture that, because then it would just kind of be noise. But anyway, you combine those together with a room mic up here. You can't see it, but it's this stand right here. It's the NT1A by Rode. Really good for capturing the room and that room ambience. So those are all mixed together. I debated on, providing the mic positions. I think some people really like having mic positions, but all in all, it just increased the footprint, and it kind of went against the whole thing, the whole mantra of simplicity. So decided just to do my own mix with it, like a kind of a board mix. And this is what it looks like. It's one patch, and it rocks. So there isn't a lot to say other than just to kind of show it to you, but it just kind of, the whole thing, even with all of its, 88 notes, round robin recording, it's only 300 megabytes. Like, these samples are so small on purpose. Like, that's the whole point. So without further ado, let's get into the instrument itself, and then we'll write some music and have a little fun with that. So I love this thing. So I obviously am biased. This is my piano. This is my upright piano that I play regularly. And this is the actual sound with the cloths. Like, there is no EQ, compression. Like, this is just... It's so pretty. And the reason I even recorded this in the first place is because one day I had this crazy idea. I've used a lot of felt pianos libraries before. What would it be like if I threw some cloths over these strings and, take apart the top of it? And, I'm wearing headphones right now. This sounds exactly like what it sounded like to play the piano and to record it, which is the goal. And that's why I do this 5 mic setup. It's a bit overkill, but I love it because it gives me like the crispiness of you can hear the key clicks, but not so much that it's like distracting. Like, you can really hear it up high like that. like that a lot because it gives it like a human touch. And I even debated on whether or not I should pitch correct the instrument. I decided not to. Because the piano is more or less in tune. But if I were to start pitch correcting it, it would actually take away the character. And it just keeps that the beauty of an upright piano. And again, this is with no reverb or anything. Like, this is just... Now, again, this is not going to be your go-to piano for an orchestral context where it needs to stand out and be bright, because typically that's a very bright, like a Steinway grand piano type of sound. And so this really has a lane to it. Just like all instruments, it's not trying to be everything. But what it does well, it does well. And specifically, as I was building this and playing with it, I kept thinking of JRPGs, like an anime. That this really lives in that lane because it has this intimacy to it, like simplicity. Like you're gonna get a lot of mileage out of doing like big virtuosic stuff because it's the wrong sound. But for like really delicate melodies, right, it's going to really excel at that. Or even in the low range. So, I'm really excited about using that today. And just for fun, I wanted to compare this to some of the other leading, felt pianos. Because I think it's always helpful to compare with what else is out there. So here are some of the big ones. Here's Una Corda. Let me actually pull them up here. This is Una Corda from Native Instruments. And immediately, I'm not going to like bash the other companies by any means. This sounds like a studio piano, like a pop. And it's not bad, but you can already hear like a very bright, tinny sound to it. So again, going back to simple felt. Has a lot of heart and soul. This kind of feels sterile. Or at least very poppy, very bright, okay? Next up is Labs. This is a free one you can grab right now, Spitfire Labs. This has always been my go-to, by the way. Until I made my own. I really like it because it's very subdued. But where it has a bit of a problem is it's so muted. That it unless it's a solo, you're not going to hear it. Or unless you're doing like very singular. Again, nothing wrong with it. I enjoy it. So going back to simple felt. To me, a lot of these other companies tend to pitch correct, or like they make everything so perfect that it feels sterile and it feels like MIDI, right? It feels digital. And that's what I'm trying to avoid. Another comparison here is the Felt Grand. Now remember, this is a grand piano, not the upright piano, so that alone is going to have a bit of a difference. But the Felt Grand, this is Noir, another really big Native Instruments one. It's nice. But again, it just feels like samey to me, like too perfect and digital. Like that is not inspiring to me at all. And again, go back to simple felt. To me, it's such a big difference. The last one I'll compare is the Felt Grand by Keyscape. This one is probably my favorite. But you know what I can't stand about it? Literally every single round robin has that. Like you can't get rid of it. And it's like obnoxious. Like it's hard. Right? It's like a percussive. Now, if that's what you want, great, go get that. But I wanted to make sure in my mixing that we got a little bit of the hammer. Like right now, in my right ear, I can hear a little bit of that. Right? But it's not in every single hit, because in a real piano, it doesn't do that. So I guess what my goal was to create a piano that sounded exactly like the real thing, for better or worse. And this is what I did with the hammered dulcimer. That's what I've done with guitar, bass, all the things that I've recorded so far. I wanted to make sure I'm capturing the actual essence of the original. Take it or leave it. Like every instrument has a character. And so far, the little bit of time that I've been playing around with simple felt piano, it feels like I recorded it for real. Like this sounds exactly like putting mics up and recording the thing. And of course, I think a piano, more than other instruments, translates really well to a MIDI keyboard because it's the same instrument. Versus like playing a guitar on a keyboard, there's always a little bit of jank happening, like a small diminish in return of realism. But I think piano is the one place it's just bothered me that others haven't kept the essence of the original. And I even kept some room noise. Like I bumped up the room mic to give it just a little bit of hiss, a little bit of noise, which I think is so pretty. So anyway, I'm really proud of this. It's a piano that I'm gonna just start throwing into my templates moving on, because I just think it's good and it's simple. Like I can't argue with simple. So anyway, let me get rid of the other pianos, and maybe just for a second here. Let me play just a few of my favorite like video game piano moments, just to kind of lean into why I think this is the sound of the JRPG piano track. Oh wow, I played all the wrong notes. Let me turn off my room noise. What's another good one? I'm trying to think of like Chrono Cross. Or actually, here's a perfect example. Final Fantasy X-2. And I haven't even put reverb or anything on it, so let's put a little bit. Let's go into the plugin here. Oh yeah, check it out. Just what a little bit of reverb will do. So pretty. That's a good pick. Again, let me turn off my room noise just so you can hear the. I don't have enough room to play that one. You can't get the point. It excels at one thing, right? It really excels at like the pretty like chordal or just the sweet melodic. Which to me just screams JRPG. Right? So let's do that today. And then supplement it with some other instruments. Alrighty, so the gameplay clip, excuse me, this is from the Legend of Dragoon. So there's a fan community that created an HD version of the Legend of Dragoon, which is such a phenomenal game. I've never played it until recently. I'm actually currently playing through it. This is me playing it. I had to restart the game to get some new footage, so I didn't make it very far on my replay through. But anyway, so currently, this is near the beginning of the game. Our main character, Dart, he doesn't know that he's a Dragoon yet, but a Dragoon is like this legendary, magical, dragon-taming warrior. But anyway, this is called Severed Chains, and it's it's, what do you even call it? A decomp, I guess is what you call it. It's kind of like when I did the Star Fox 64 decomp. Effectively, it is fans who have taken the code of the game and they've just replaced the assets to make it look nicer so that it's in HD, it's full screen, I guess you could call it widescreen, whatever. You can play it in 4K, that kind of stuff, and it just looks, it's smooth, it's 60 FPS, and it's just beautiful. Phenomenal game. I've really enjoyed playing it so far. The soundtrack's incredible, and it's very comparable to Final Fantasy VII, and I think a lot of people missed this game because it was right around the time of Final Fantasy VII and 8. In the late 90s, and of course everything got dwarfed by those games, but it's of equal quality. It tries a lot of new unique things for that day and age, and its battle system is wild and different, so it kind of reminds me of a cross of Chrono Cross and Final Fantasy VII. It has a lot of elements of both, so it has all that PS1 jank. It's just wonderful. So anyway, I have this long gameplay clip that's in our archives for Video Game Music Alliance, and for this clip I wanted to do kind of a sad scene. So without spoiling any of the story necessarily, Dart is our main character, and his best friend, Shayna, has been imprisoned in this castle. And he just met this other guy, Lavitz, and so they're now buddies, and they're on the same team. So you fight a bunch of bad guys, and then you come and you rescue her, and then they have this dialogue scene. So there's a lot of sound effects in here, but I just kind of smushed together some scenes here. And for our VGMA members, if you guys are rescoring this, this is one of your options. We also have several battles in there that you could rescore, which I might do another stream soon. I'm thinking about it, about doing a battle scene, because like this game is so good. There's so many great moments that it'd be really fun to rescore a battle scene as well, with modern production, not just sticking to retro PS1 sounds. But anyway, and then there's like the castle. You're walking around the castle, so there's that music. There's like a villain cutscene that you could score. So there's lots of options that members can choose from. But for today, I decided to get this little clip. So let me just play a little bit of that. And this is before there was voice acting in games, so it's all text. So this is Dart finding Shayna in the cell. Thanks, Lloyd. But they haven't seen each other in 5 years. That's kind of the whole emotional point here. And so there's a few minutes here that I can score, and then the bad guys come and fight, and then they talk. Basically, they're recruiting her to the team. She's basically saying, "I'm not a baby anymore. I'm a woman now. I can fight." And so now, Miss Strong Independent Woman. It's such a trope in so many games and movies. Cool. She's gonna come join the team, and now she shoots her bow and arrow, which is interesting because it's like magic. She's the first character that has any kind of magic. Anyway, it's a cool moment, and what I've noticed playing this game and many JRPGs, especially from like PS1, PS2 era, a lot of these games have the same piece of music that's just littered throughout the game. So the generic music that does play in the game here, it plays hundreds of times. It's like every time there's a scene that is just slightly sad, there's like the piano theme, right? So I'm not going to imitate that completely, but I thought this was a good moment to at least try something that is piano-centric, and then maybe use some solo instruments like a flute, bassoon, kalimba, swells of strings, something like that to help elevate it. So I feel like this is going to go really fast. But anyway, here's what I came up with so far. It already works. Just 2 chords. So that's the idea. It's super simple. This is effectively an A flat. This is Kingdom Hearts. Not that we've played it. Dang it, I plagiarized. Not really, it's 2 chords. But it's an A flat 2 to a B flat 2. Back and forth. Because there's so much... by the way, this is called planar writing. This was heavily used in the French Impressionistic era, so in the, like 1800s. Composers like Ravel and Debussy, they used this a lot. It's basically where you take a chord, usually a 2 chord, so in this case an A flat 2 chord, which is an A flat chord with a B flat on top. And then you just move, like you just move to the next exact same chord shape. And then they might go up to a C minor too. And then maybe back down to the... Oh wait, that's every JRPG ever. Isn't that exactly in a different key? But that literally is the Final Fantasy X2. And it's one of my favorite themes of all time. This is one of the themes that made me want to become a piano player. Dang it. What key is it in? There it is. Different key, but E flat major, I think. No, it's not. It's in C minor. Whatever it's in. Jordan, you know. he's our music theory guy. What is that? It's a 4 chord. 5, 1. Okay, so it's actually in B flat major. But it starts on a 4. 4, 5, 6, 3, 4. That's the chord progression. So 4, 5, 6, 3. That is the JRPG secret. So what are we in? If that's a 4, that's a 5, that's our 6. There's our 3. Okay, there it is. Got it. That's what Kingdom Hearts does. That's what all the Final Fantasies do. So it's not a bad formula because it's like emotional. Anyway, I don't want it to necessarily be the main focus though. I want it to just kind of be the excuse me, the mood changer. Because like whenever you're playing a JRPG, there's usually like this little intro that instantly shifts the mood. Because like they just got out of a battle, which is boom, 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 and then boom, shift. Like that's how sudden these games do it. There's zero subtlety. It's just mood shift. Emotions. Yeah, Royal Road. Is that what it's called? 4, 5, 3, 6. Jordan just mentioned that like last week. I need to figure that. I've never heard that terminology. Why is it called the Royal Road? So you're saying 4, 5, 3. Oh, yeah, that's used in 80s pop music everywhere. Yeah, I've used that a million times. I've just never heard that terminology. Interesting. Okay, so the way that I'm going to make this a little bit more interesting, instead of just doing the chords, is I'm going to create this little melody. B flat on top. Change it. C, B flat. Now, how can we make it different? Go higher. And now you can repeat it many times without it feeling too repetitious, because that little melody on top is changing. But I want to supplement it, because this is less of a sad scene. It's more of a like a childhood nostalgia, because he rescued his friend from his childhood. So it's like there's a slightly different tone to that than something that's just overtly sad. Like no one just died, right? There are moments later that characters die and the music gets really sad. It's all minor and it's all depressing, and this is not that. This is kind of the in-between. So maybe I shouldn't call it a sad scene. I should just call it like nostalgic, childhood nostalgia, right? So I think it's okay to lean into like the airy, so like woodwinds. So, many times, I would say 95% of the time as a composer for games, you're not going to have the opportunity to work with live musicians. When you get to work with live musicians or you can record your own instruments, do it, because it's super fun. It definitely elevates the project, but it's also a huge time crunch and an expense that teams usually don't have to spend. So, it's important to get really good with working with sample libraries to make them sound as realistic as possible, especially tight deadlines and all that kind of stuff. So my goal today is, this is the tight deadline. We only have this stream, so I don't really have the luxury of going and hiring musicians right now for this stream. So I'm going to do my best to try to make these solo instruments sound realistic. And something you should know right off the bat is I have turned on this console, this Neve console plugin. If you don't have this or something like this, highly, highly recommend it. This adds so much analog warmth to anything you do, mainly I will specifically say for orchestral music, this is really nice, which is 99% of what I make is orchestral music for video games and films. So it's good to have something like this. You don't have to use a specific one, but basically a console plugin allows you to throw in some EQ curves effectively. But what's happening is all of the sound in my stereo out is going through that first. And effectively, I don't even know all the wizardry of what's really happening here. I found this from a trusted audio mixer who showed this. And ever since I've tried it in the last couple months, I've been really blown away with how powerful this little trick is for making your music feel warmer and more lively. And effectively what's happening is it's a slight EQ curve. So it's like a slight low pass, slight high pass, this one and this one. And I saved the settings because I forgot what all the buttons do. Let's just be real. So I don't know exactly, but you can take a picture of this if you want, and you can copy it. I don't care. I just saved it as a preset because I'm like, I will never remember all these buttons that I pushed. So let's leave it alone. But effectively, it's set to -8 dB. And then over here, the gain is set to 8 dB. So what is happening is 0 volume gain is happening. So I'm not using this to boost and make it, the placebo effect of it. Oh, it's louder. It must be better. I'm avoiding that. So the audio is just running through the filters instead of any kind of volume boost. And I want you to hear, let me just turn it off right now. Can you hear the difference? Off versus on. Maybe you can't hear it with a solo instrument, but you'll hear it. I'll show you a little bit later when we have more instruments playing. I've found it to be a godsend. It adds so much analog warmth to my tracks. Now, I'm not going to say you should use it on 100% of everything, but so far on the orchestral music that I've used it on, it's really helped to, it is subtle, to give it that little bit of like live edge. Makes things a little bit airier, I guess is the way of saying it. So let's put some stuff in here. I'll turn the sound effects off while I'm doing this. And we're in good old 6/8 time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Because I'm a psycho who likes writing in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So much of my piano music. I'm a pianist by trade. Got the degree, all that stuff. Taught lessons for years. I love piano, and it's my vehicle for writing music. But I guess I just grew up playing in all different time signatures, playing different genres of music and everything, that it never felt weird to me to write music in 6. I don't know. 6 is just, I've been so drawn to 6/8, 6/4. I bet if someone were to analyze my output of music, I bet the majority of it is in 6 versus traditional 4. I just lean, I don't know why, I just do. It could be the impressionistic stuff that I've played. I've played a lot of Ravel and Debussy and the French dudes. Yeah, that sounds nice. No, no. This is like the driest flute in the history of the world, which I kind of like. I might dress it up a little bit, but we kind of get the notes in first. Let's get through 2 bars, or 2 passes. Here it comes. Mod wheel up. Those kind of clash a little bit, so I want to be careful. I don't write for flute, hardly ever. It just felt like the appropriate instrument. I mean, it also helps that, we're meeting the girl, right? The girl next door. So it just felt appropriate to kind of lean in that fluffier, nostalgic. And then, like, childhood nostalgia is typically represented by higher instruments anyway, higher pitched instruments like bells, piano, harp, flute, female vocals. That's kind of the lane that tone lives in. So that's kind of where I'm going. Okay, if I end up using these woodwinds are from Claire Woodwinds. These are a little old now. They're probably 10 or more years old. So they're probably dirt cheap if you want to go look them up at 8DO. I have a lot of 8DO libraries that I've really found a lot of mileage out of still. I lean towards any instruments that sound real, like really good performances of legato has always been very important to me. There might be something better out there now. I don't know. But I'm sure they're dirt cheap now. That's the Claire Woodwinds, and it has flute, bassoon, English horn, oboe, and clarinet. So it has what you need. Nothing more, but that's what you need. The 8DO, I won't say this about all their libraries, but the ones that I like are the ones that have that simplicity mindset. Very much like Simple Samples. Like they just give you exactly what you need, nothing more. And I like that a lot. I don't like fluffy libraries that have 5,000 presets. And it's like, I'm going to just use one. Okay. I just wanted the one thing, I would have rather have spent $5 on the one thing than 5,000 on the big bundle. I don't know. I'm a little jaded by that. Anyway, here's a bassoon. These are a little quiet. Let me turn them up. It's probably because that's why. Let's turn some mic positions on. Let's do the wide. Then I don't even have to use reverb. It's pretty. Go back to the flute. So quiet. It's because these are down. It's also an alto flute, which I think is really nice. It has some like oboe qualities in it without being overly harsh and nasally. I love oboe in the right context, but I hate oboe if it's not needed. Now that I'm getting a little bit older and I've just used a lot of gear over the years, and I've studied so many soundtracks now by video game composers, I'm really starting to relate a whole lot more to the composers of old, such as composers like for the PS1 era. I always questioned, why did these composers use gear that was so old, even for their time? I just learned this morning that the Final Fantasy 9... Let me think this through. Yeah, no, Final Fantasy 10. Final Fantasy 10, which is PS2. I think it was like year 2000, 2001. Nobuo Uematsu, who wrote a large portion of that score and all of the preceding Final Fantasies, he was still using primarily the Roland Sound Canvas, which had already been out for like 10, 15 years. He was using ancient hardware. But why? Why wasn't he using the flashy new stuff? Because he knew exactly how to get what he wanted, the emotion and everything, out of the old gear. And he made the old gear sound incredible. Crazy. And even back then, it wasn't even MIDI. Like he changed the landscape because, PS1 era, everyone was using MIDI still, MIDI sequencing, or they were recording, wave files, and Redbook audio and putting that into the games. But man, even for Final Fantasy VII, one of the most legendary soundtracks of all time, it sounds like this weird in between of MIDI and wave files because it's actually all recorded audio. And yeah, Sound Canvas still holds up. It really does. Not in every way, but many of its sounds, I still use some of its sounds. Like one of the games I'm working on right now, Aethermancer, one of the primary instruments for the soundtrack is this like synth dulcimer sound that was from the Sound Canvas. And like some of these things just work still. Anyway, wow, what a rant I just went on. I guess what I'm trying to say is don't feel bad that you're using old stuff. Like my main setup is usually old gear. It's stuff that is 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old, right? And that's okay. Retro's cool again. You just gotta know what you're using. I mean, heck, I'm using a piano. Pianos are old. Pianos are 300 years old, 400 years old. I guess a harpsichord would be before that. But Dan, what's up? They are not the flutes. These are not the flutes used in Aethermancer. No. Or are they? Now you're making me question everything. Actually, no, it's not. I think in Aethermancer I use... I am using the Clare woodwinds for the clarinet and the bassoon. So actually, this is the bassoon used in Aethermancer. It's also used in Hollow Knight, if you like that game. Chris Larkin used the Clare woodwinds for that. Gareth Coker uses the Clare woodwinds in everything. He uses 8-Dio religiously. He's actually the guy who taught me to use 8-Dio way back when it was cool. Now it's just old. But I mean, I'm on a rant now, but one of the most acclaimed composers of all time, Grant Kirkhope, shout out. Amazing dude. He still uses the play East-West Quantum Leap stuff, which I have publicly abhorred. Like, I like some of its stuff still. I actually have a whole database of Contact created instruments from the play engine. I like the sounds. I hate the engine. But he still writes big orchestral sweeping scores like Mario Rabbids and whatever. And he uses that, which is like 20 years old, 25 years old, which just blows my mind. But he uses it really well. Oh my gosh, it's just crazy how well some of these samples hold up. Even Hans Zimmer, going to the film world, he used a lot of his early samples that he recorded of the orchestra. He used that stuff forever and probably still does, to be honest. Probably still does use it in his soundtracks. Anyway, yeah, so Wano is all over 8-Dio. Attack on Titan. Yeah, I mean, it's everywhere. Composers have the same tools. It's about how you use the tools, right? Wow, what a little tangent I went on. Ooh, I want to go low. That's nice. But you know what I also want to do? Let's get some Aether. Maybe like -20. That's pretty. Now it's too loud. Ha. Let's go -3. Let's actually write some music. I've been talking way too much. No. That's nice. I like that. Let's clean it up. Excuse me, ever so slightly. And yes, for those who've been listening carefully, even I, as a sample library creator, am telling you, potential customers of said sample libraries, that you don't need everything. If this, we're talking about the felt piano today, if this isn't something you need, don't buy it. But if it is something you need, buy it and use it and love it for years to come, right? That's pretty. Cool. I don't ever write for alto flute, so that's really pretty. Now here's my my rule of thumb. I only started doing this about 6 months ago, like this year, 2025, but it has been a game changer for my ability to mix and make really realistic sounding music. So if there's one thing you take away from today, do this. Bounce. Bounce your audio. Bounce your MIDI to audio. I don't care what you're making. This saves so much time and it makes everything more musical. So what I've done here, taking this beautiful little phrase, and now I have complete control over what it's going to be like instead of always relying on MIDI. I can line it up dead on to what I want, and I can change the audio, I can boost, I can reduce, all that stuff. So now I'm going to tweak it to really make it exactly what I want. And the cool thing about Cubase, or in my case, New Window, is when you can choose your settings about what happens when you bounce something in place. Render in place is what it's called. I make sure that the sins, so in this case reverb, are not baked into the audio. So it actually just bounces the raw audio. And then what it does is it copies it to an audio track and then copies over the send. That way, if I want to go back and make a tweak to the MIDI, I can, and it doesn't screw up my settings. It's really, really nice. Keeps it all clean and healthy without like having double reverb or, oh no, I baked in the reverb into my track on accident. Let me go rebound it. None of that. Really nice. It's so pretty. Let's add more reverb. I'm gonna double it. And then I'm gonna make separate phrases. So here's a little moment where the MIDI just decided to be MIDI and stupid and didn't trigger at the right time. So it's late. Hear that? It's late. So what do I do about that? Well, I'm gonna take just that little itty bitty note. No, right? And I'm gonna take my little time stretch tool. Boom. And that should solve the problem. And then take my little range select, do a crossfade between them, and now it should be fixed without ever having to touch the MIDI. I actually think I did the exact opposite of what I was supposed to do. I'm supposed to take this note and stretch it to come in sooner. Just like that. More control. Now it's fixed, and it sounds better. Like, come on. If you want better audio, if you want stuff to sound better, then edit it. Make it what you want. Also, I'm going to take, this is something you can't do in MIDI very well. I'm just going to do an outro, a fade out. Just like a musician would, a live musician would fade in and out. So here's a moment where this note is too loud and these are too quiet. So you can't really fix that in MIDI land, but I can do it in audio just fine. All I do, take this clip, go up here, volume +3. This clip, volume -3, do a crossfade. And now it's both musical and interesting and took me like 3 seconds, right? Beautiful. Also, this thing's out of tune. Did you hear that? So I'm gonna go to fine tune. I'm gonna do negative 30. Negative 10. Perfect. Can't do that with MIDI. Also, I'm gonna do a little fade in, fade out. Because here's the thing. If I had a live musician right now in the room with me recording, a flute player, I would have him or her record it several times to try to get the right emotion on the notes. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing it in post. I'm editing the phrases to be what I want because I can't, write it in sheet music and crescendos and decrescendos or coach the person. So I'm going to coach the audio instead. That's what I'm doing. If you just live by MIDI, you'll always have mediocre music. Sorry. Is that too harsh of a stance? I don't know. But I think it's true. Also, this is we're not going to hear much of a difference, but because there's not many instruments playing, but I want you guys to hear the difference. I'm going to turn the console Neve plugin off. Listen to this without it. It's going to sound way more digital. Listen. Not by much, but enough. Now here it is with the Neve console. It's subtle, but it makes a difference. Also, this is just too loud in general, so I'm going to make this -5. Also needs a little bit more love in the reverb department. Let's do -5 this time. Make it really sore. Split the difference, -7. So pretty. It's simple, right? But it works. It really, really works. Okay, what else can we do? I was thinking some kalimba. It might be overkill or the wrong sound. I was kind of going for a bell sound. But there's all those like weird overtones in it. This is the simple kalimba, by the way. Also dirt cheap on the site if you want to grab it. Just be warned, it has some overtones in it. I think I have it nearby. Nah, it's in a box. I'm going to do another kalimbas collection. I have multiple kalimbas of different styles, and some that are pitched, some that are not. I have a coconut shell one. I have the pitched kind. I want to do a new recording of kalimbas with my good mics to help fix some of those problems. But anyway, I digress. Glock, maybe. Actually, I like that idea. I'm going to do a glockenspiel, but it's going to be retro. It has to be. It can't be some fancy, like, high-def version. And there's only one place to go for that. This is one of my favorite libraries. And none of you should buy it because it is a stupid purchase. Unless you do retro music. I don't know. I don't know how I could ever encourage someone to buy this because it's just a stupid purchase. But if you like the GameCube era, this was used on everything. It's called the Advanced Orchestra. And it is as cheap. I can't believe this even exists, that it's still sellable. But this is, you can still buy this from Best Service. They acquired the rights and they sell it now, but it used to be called the Peter. It's a Russian name. It starts with an S. Peter S. It's like Shlashavas. Advanced Orchestra. So it's called AO. And Like Wind Waker comes to mind. I mean, come on, I have to do it. It's just the most Wind Waker sound of all time. Yeah, it's just bad, but I love it. It's just so nostalgic for me. And the brass in here, like you could instantly recognize that this is where it comes from. It's well documented. Anyway, percussion. There's something about some of these old percussion patches that are just it's like using the Roland Sound Canvas. It has such a legend that it instantly sounds like video game music because it's been used in hundreds of games. So here's the Glock. Yes. Like, that is not the sound of the 80s. It's not the sound of modern. It's not a sound of a real Glock. That's the sound of 90s JRPG right there. And it might be overdoing it, but let's just try it. Oh my gosh. That's not the one from Yoshi's Island. I have that one, but it's pretty close. This is like a hi-fi version of that. But this just instantly gives that nostalgic vibes. And this is the AO, so the Advanced Orchestra is what it's called. So if you want to go waste like $200 on that, go for it. I had a kick way back when, it may have been COVID year, 2020, 2021, one of those. I made a database of all my favorite video game soundtrack sound sources and converted them to Contact. And that was one of them. I was like, I have to find the sounds from my favorite GameCube games, and that's where it was. Oh my gosh. That is the sound I wanted. That's perfect. Now I am going to slightly modernize it here with some Aether. Gotta douse it. Yeah, Lloyd, I don't want to necessarily copy anything from the original. I just wanted to kind of do what I felt in my head to do. In my heart, I do what's in my heart. All right. But I feel like right here, doubling the melody would be nice. Yeah, that's cool. Now the question comes in. That's so nice. It's like it's intentionally cheesy, but it just feels right. Okay, let me do one more pass of that. And I'm also going to turn it down about -3. So it'll come in right here. Yeah. That flute's so pretty. Maybe one more pass. And then I do want to have a B section. That's not the same. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that could be its own track, right? Simple enough. I like the bassoon, but now I'm starting to lean towards like English horn territory. Let me just feel it out. Let me duplicate that real quick. Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go. I believe in you. Believe in you, Contact. You can do this. Okay, there it is. No, no, no. Something about the simplicity of just a few instruments actually has more impact emotionally than big orchestra stuff. It just does. What are we doing? Okay, clear woodwind. Let's do English horn. Is not used enough in anything. I prefer it to the oboe because it's basically the same instrument but lower in range. It's the equivalent of an alto flute to the traditional concert flute. It's lower in range. It has a warmer, darker tone. But it also kind of gives a depressing tone, so that may not be the right vibe. In any case, let me take these over here. Let's throw some verb on them. And I'm only using one bus for all this so that there's no resource mismanagement. There we go. Keep them all at -7. That's a good swimmy reverb. So pretty. Maybe for the B section it might work. This is an idea I had, but I already feel like it's too many notes. Like coming from this. I want to keep in that territory. Might as well. I mean, let's lean into the. It's not the royal road, but it's what Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy X-2 do, which is the 4, 5, 6, 3, back to the 4. I think that would be the right tone that we're going for. Okay, let me fix this. I want to make space for, you know, some kind of melody instrument. Na, 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 classic Uematsu. And on the Picardy third. Maybe. Let's do that. Let's just try it. 1, 2, 3. fix that in a second. Okay, so a couple things at play here. If I'm going to do that Picardy third, it has to be on the final one only, which will be the loop point. Okay, so we're going to do A flat, B flat, C, E, go up to the E, major 7, then the G minor, then you done that nice Picardy third. Okay, here we go. Also gives it a lot of space on the back end of the measure. There it is. Very simple. Now, G minor. Repeats. C minor with a little D, then the E flat. Coming up to the Picardy. Here it is. Very Chrono Cross Mitsuda. And that actually makes for a really good loop point. So we're going to set the loop there. It's already a minute and a half, so that's actually really solid. Time-wise, that's plenty of material. And let's set my grid. Something reasonable, like a quarter note. Here. Yeah, that goes great because it goes back to the A flat, which is that 4 chord. Gotta be careful though that my very first one actually needs to be slightly off. This is a trick I've learned. If you want to pay attention here, basically, if you start your piece of music with a rolled chord, it was there, and that's before the first beat. So it's going to get cut off in a loop. So all I do for the very first one, literally just move it to the bar. Makes no difference musically. I mean, it's slightly forward, but whatever. If that really bothers me, then I just need to move that over. There it is. Solved. Then the rest of them can be off the beat just fine. But that way, when I come over here to the loop point, it doesn't get cut off when it loops. Actually, it does feel rushed. Quick little solve is going to be take these two and put them slightly off the beat. Yeah, that solved it. Yeah. Cool. It's a little time manipulation. I like all that so far. I think we're doing well. Let's see about this part. Oh, I do need to quantize these because these are all just straight 16ths. Go to the B section, which is here. We actually put that at, what is that, bar 17? Yeah. So it's a very kind of clean cut binary form A, B loop, but most of video game music is that, or an ABC. So much of music is that. So that's a pretty good formula to follow. Just like most songs are verse, chorus, chorus, bridge, chorus. Like there's a reason. It fits the formula. So this is where I want strings. So let's go back over here. I don't know why I'm rocking so much 8Dio today, but it's the right pick. 8Dio has this ancient library, which I still use in just about everything. This is like one of my top 3 must-have libraries. It's called Adagietto. It's a string library. It just has in my opinion, the perfect articulations for short, longs, and swells, nothing else, and plucks, called pizzicato. Doesn't have all the fancy articulations and stuff. The other libraries will do that, but it has the best. It's called a dynamic bowing, so it's attached. It's time machine in contact. So it just means that it's attached to my BPM, which is 68 right now, and so it's going to hold for exactly 1 bar, and then I can use my mod wheel to swell it even further with dynamics, and it crescendos in and out, crescendos and decrescendos. Absolutely perfect for. That. Now, it may not work with this timing. Let's find out. It might actually be too fast. Let me pop everything into 17. Okay, so this is the one moment where I'm going to copy the strings. I just spoke so highly of them, but I don't think that they're quick enough. So I'm actually going to grab a different patch from the same library. I'm just going to grab the string ensemble. Let's just do Sordino. So everything's going to be muted. That's what I would ask the orchestra to do anyway, if I was working with them live, which I've done many times. And Sordino strings. So pretty. They're very muted and subdued, so I should probably turn my volume way down as well. The reason I'm not using the swells is because I need to have some notes that stay the same. So for example, let me do this. So I need to have like that violas. I need to stay. So good string writing, usually, 90% of the time, you'll have more effective string writing if you can have one note remain while everything else moves. So keep holding it. Maybe move it. Happening is it's creating like the in-between part writing, and then what you do is you use the mod wheel and your pedal to help sustain. And this is with no reverb, guys, so it already sounds phenomenal. So let's do Aether, maybe -10. Hear it. By the way, I've had the opportunity to write for shows like The Bachelorette, and this is like their bread and butter, is piano, bells, and string ensemble. This is the exact patch I've used on the show. It's this. It's this. Gotta ride that mod wheel. It's like the formula for sappy music, right? Is you want to have these like string beds that rise and fall, and it should never be stagnant. Is kind of my point. It also doesn't need to be the main focal point. I'm going to put it at like -9 and just kind of write it. Let's see if it works. It's already way too loud. We're going to do like -14. Try it again. But it is the right sound. Here we go. Here we go. That was okay. I feel like we could do better. It's more so in like the chord choice, or in the inversions. It feels a little thick. That feels a little bit better. What I don't want is to get too low and muddy. Here we go. A bit more open chords and repetition. All right, that was a lot to do in one pass, so I'm gonna erase my mod wheel information. That became a little too difficult, too much to try to do in one pass. So I'm first gonna 1, 2, 3. They're all eighth notes. So let's first do that. I'm gonna keep my everything else the same. Let me move this back up here. And then I'm gonna do just another pass with just the mod wheel recording. All right, that was good, except for the my sustain pedal got stuck right around here. Let's fix it. There. No. Maybe I can change it right there. I hate manually editing sustain pedal because it's the most unintuitive thing ever. But it is necessary sometimes. If you make a mistake, you gotta fix it. Ah! There it is. No, not there. Here. Gah! I hate doing that. There. But if I'm going to do that, then I need to extend these. here. Keep it there. Cool. That feels good. Just like that. All right, we got some strings. Let me just listen to this again. Something like that. Ish. Yeah, I mean that actually feels good. Thanks, Micah. It is a very mournful sound. It feels right there. Almost like a cello line or a viola line instead of, I mean, maybe the English horn could be the second half. It's a very simple composition today, but every choice matters. There's no hiding. It's very exposed. Let me see if the legato viola can handle this one. If not, it might be a cello line. I haven't quite decided. I know what the notes are, but we gotta get the right tone. Or which could be either instrument. Well, viola would be the higher one. It's not a violin line. It's too. It's a cool idea, Micah. He says, if I use the cor anglais, which is the English horn, and the flute in a call and response, like for both character reunions. That's an interesting way of putting it. I was actually already planning on doing two instruments, one for the first half of the beat and then the second for the second half, so like a string instrument and then a woodwind instrument. So effectively, either way, I think I'll nail that. I can make this work with the right settings. Unfortunately, we recorded this thing in mono, and it's okay. But my more modern ears, my more refined ears now are bothered by it. I wish we had recorded in stereo. Because I've been recording my violin so much lately in stereo, and then panning it left and right, and it just creates this beautiful, enriching sound. The problem with mono is I love using mono too for like sound effects and percussion and whatever, but like for like the main solo instrument, it can just feel tinny and like it's too central. I think I might just be too annoyed by this. Good instrument, it's just might be the wrong context. The wrong tone, unfortunately. I wanted it to work, but that's okay. Gotta try stuff. I'm also just feeling weary about using cello. Blah. Let me think this through. What would feel right there? Woodwind is perfect for the second half. Erhu. That's always the answer. We do the second half. Okay, a couple things here. This library, while it has really good legato, it does not sustain notes that are connected with legato, so you have to do them separately. So these, for example, need to be connected. So really, separate. You have to choose which ones are separate and connected. Separate. Like that. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and bounce that and then work with the audio. I'm happy with that so far. I don't want to be like so cliche in using the cello, but I feel like it might be the right time for a cello. I'm very tempted to go buy a cello in real life because I keep wanting to use cello, but I hate sampled cellos. Kind of just the... As a string player, I just hate using fake strings. It's really, really bad. Woodwinds don't bother me as much. What does bother me, though, is when these crescendos are just outlandishly loud. So I have to, like, do this. But this is why I do this. Why do these crescendos have to be so stupid loud? -3. -3. It's fine, though. Because then I just do that. Use some wizardry. No. That bothers me greatly. No. Let me just take this guy, stretch him to there. Oh, come on. Blast. I just want you to work. Blast, blast, blast. That got ugly. Hold on. I think it can work. Just gotta do a little bit of that. Some instruments just do not work well with MIDI at all. Woodwinds usually need some serious editing. This is what I've found. There it is. So, do I encourage you to do this kind of editing? Yeah, I do. Do you need to be good at it now? Maybe. Just try it. See if this is helpful. I'd rather play it badly once in MIDI and get the information there that I need, and then edit it and get it perfect, then try to spend like 20 minutes trying to make that MIDI perfect, because it's a lost cause. I'd rather have the final thing already. So this is just stupid loud. Make that -4, but then I can do a big crossfade. Still too loud. -6. And then just take this, do a big decrescendo so that it never gets as big. Like that. Still too loud. Dang. How about now? Beautiful. Oh, these strings are out of control. So let's do a couple things. Start cleaning up. Wow, I did this fast today. Yeah, I got to talk a bunch. First things first, I need to get these strings locked in. And to do that, I'm just going to bounce like normal. I'll let you see all the process. There we go. But you know what? Slow tracks like this typically can be written really fast. It's the fast tracks that take so much time. Like the battle tracks usually take a lot of work because there's so much going on. Okay, so here's an instance where you definitely want to fade that in. Let me just look at these strings for a minute. There we go. Beautiful. Let's EQ the strings. I just feel like it needs a little help. Trying to find the harsh frequencies and point them back. Oh yes, like right here. Totally just need to fade him out. Don't know how he turned blue, but he turned blue. Let me fix that. Why are you blue? There. Alright. Does that feel better? Why do they feel so crispy crisp? Like so crispy. Isn't that crazy? Wow. I'm pretty sure that is the result of the Neve console. It like makes everything, every change to EQ is even more dramatic. Like, isn't that crazy? Look, I pulled out the mids, like 200. I guess that's the low end. I pulled out the lows, pulled out some of the highs, and yet it sounds like crispier than ever. It sounds like I boosted the highs. You hear it? Here's it off. Look, isn't that crazy? This is with no EQ. And then I took out the bad frequencies and it sounds brighter. Guarantee it's because of this. Let's find out. I'm super curious now. Let me turn off the console. Okay, so here it is with nothing. Now with the EQ. Weird. How about that? That is weird. But it works. I can't explain why it works. I have to ask the audio wizards to decipher that one. But it's clean. Kind of don't like it though. I feel like I took out too much low. There. A little better. Boom. Okay, that's a good loop. God, we have to have something here. Still feels so loud. Okay, there we go. That's right, Micah. Fake it till you make it. No, I mean, just lean in. What was this patch? What was I doing? Okay, nothing, apparently. Okay, just for funsies, let's grab RoboGuo. If you're going to use something like this, let's give it a second. If you're going to use something like Tina Guo Cello, which is fabulous, because she's fabulous, use the raw mix. Turn off any reverb of any kind. Just do the basic. Get the basic sound. And then add whatever you got to add. So over here, I'm going to go ahead and turn it way down, like to -6. Get some reverb on there. My reverb that matches my room. That's a very good sound. Let's do that. So much better than the out-of-the-box nonsense with like so much gross reverb and stereo and like, you guys want to hear it? How gross. I'm sorry. Sorry, Tim, whoever you are. Let me, I just want you guys to hear this. I hate it so much. So here's what comes out of the box. It's this. It's not bad, but it just sounds like digital and fake and gross. So instead, I do raw. Turn that... Sorry, it's a bad reverb. I don't like it. and then turn it way down. Probably like -8, and then put my own good reverb on it. And then I think we can use it well. Yeah, Dan, if you're going to use the Natali curve, just be careful. It can destroy a mix very fast. Anytime you're pulling mids from a mix, it could be you can make it lifeless very fast. So if you're going to experiment with that, use it very subtly, like 1 or 2 dB. I have learned already in the last 6 months or so of using that. If you go too far, like even just 3 dB or especially 6 dB, what it does is it starts to make the track sound very tinny or very boomy. The mids are the magic, right? You don't ever want to get rid of them completely. So you just got to be really careful. And also just depends on the genre of music you're doing. So it's something to experiment with for sure, like with anything. Just tread lightly. It's not a cure-all. Here's what's happened. On my really bad speakers, my KRK Rockets, I had those at the time of making that video, and using that EQ curve absolutely helped everything. It made everything clear, because the KRKs have a bass boost. A very nasty bass boost, which makes everything sound good. That's the whole point. They're consumer speakers. They're not pro speakers. They're just not. They're marketed as pro. They're not. They're entry level, gross speakers. They're kind of like Beats by Dre headphones. They sound good, I guess, but they're also bass heavy, and that causes, if you're mixing, it causes you to make a lot of bad decisions. As soon as I got these Atom Audios, the A7Vs, which are stellar pro speakers. I heard really fast. Really fast that everything I had used that EQ curve on, basically anything 3 dB or higher, it just sounded like garbage because it exposed that I had pulled too much out of the mids. And so now I'm going back and fixing some old tracks that it just destroyed, unbeknownst to me. So it's such an interesting thing. Because I actually went back, fixed one of the tracks for a client to now sound amazing on good speakers because I didn't kill the mids. And the client just today just messaged me and said, "Hey, I really liked the last mix better." No! Dang it. Because he doesn't have nice speakers. He's listening on headphones, AirPods, whatever, right? He can't hear what I hear. So it's a frustrating thing. So just be careful. Be careful. Don't overdo it. Experiment. Don't overdo it. Just like Robo Guo is too much. I actually love this vibrato, but you just got to be careful. Just for fun, I'm going to try a different cello. One that I made. It's a not product. It's a not product in development. I'm just gonna call it Szymanski. Let me just try. See if this helps a little bit more. If I had a cello in the room right now, I would play it because it's. I just hate using what everyone else uses. I know, it's a silly thing. Let me find my thingy. I gotta find my folder. This is just a friend I recorded. It's like no quality coding in here at all. But I already like it better because it's not it's not the norm. I've strongly considered making a cello library. It might be a little bit too janky. Sounds way more like PS1 now, doesn't it? Because that's what they did with samples. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna make it. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna sneak and try to make this work. Yeah, this is... I recorded my buddy. This was before I started Simple Sample. This is like 6 years ago. This is before I knew what I was doing. I had to go into the archives to grab this one. If it works, it's because I'm going to edit it to death. I'm going to use it. I'm going to find a way. It just has so much heart. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Dang it. So a couple things I have to do. Really, I'm just gonna turn it to audio, and then we're gonna play with it and make it work because it's worth it. I have a lot of samples. Before I ever got like serious into context sampling, I recorded stuff all the time with myself or friends or recording sessions, whatever. And I just had this database of recordings, things that I've made, and not many of them are super high quality, but times like this I'm like, oh, I have this thing, you know, I have this old thing, I should probably go find it and try. So really the secret sauce to anything is like, how are you going to use it in the context? So let's see if we can actually do this. Already off to a good start with that beautiful little slide. So there we have a problem. The good news is this is all very solvable. That's where it starts to get a little weird and sloppy. So I'm going to do my classic trick here. Time stretch and crossfade. This is basically how they used to do it anyway. PS1 era. There's a lot of hodgepodge using samples, crossfading, I guess. What happened here? Oh, this is supposed to be a long note. Oh, that's not too hard of a task. So I'm going to take this. We're going to time stretch it to be a little bit longer. Nothing crazy town like that. And then we're going to cross fade that. Too much. Too much, too much, too much. Like that. That'll probably work. It's not bad. just comes in early. So let's put it there. And this guy is going to stretch to there. And then we're going to do a nice, pretty fade out. So this guy just needs to be stretched like this direction. Thanks for your patience with me. I think I got it figured out now. Like that. Ah, come on. I think I understand now what's going on. No, no. That's it. There's like a little wrong note in there. Again, I didn't know what I was doing back then. I even like that little at the end. That's nice. Okay. Now that's cheesy. I get it. I'm hoping if we supplement it with Glock, like that, I can kind of solve it a little bit. Let me see if I can stretch this down a little bit. There it is. When a sample doesn't do what you want, just, you know, edit it and save it. Hey. 1, 2, 3, 4, bam, bam. Yeah, this is like a reunion, a somber reunion track for what's happening. Alright, let me fix this melody a little bit. How can I, there's really no graceful way of doing this, but... Alright. What else could I use instead of like a plucky Glock? Maybe we could do like... Boom, bum, bum. Boom, bum, bum. Oh yeah, there's lots of music shifts in this. I'm actually thinking like... Like a Juno. Plucky synth sound that's like 90s. Quite a bit of that. There's my synth Celeste. Celeste, how do you pronounce that? Celeste. Stereo delay that. Get a bit of vibiness. That's too slow. Yeah, now we're in the right territory. Okay. Gosh, this English horn still is just bugging me. I actually like that vibrato. It's pretty nice. It's very moody. It's actually more distracting than anything. I don't want to take away from these cool solo instruments. We're almost there. I'd be better an octave higher. That's nice. Hey, Ju. Even though this cello has a slight like jankiness to it, I think it's really cool and interesting and unique because it's my own cello. That's recorded by my friend Scott Szymanski. If you need a good cello player. This part gets a little wonky. fix that. Hey, thanks so much, Bam Bam. Even though, like, it has a little jank to it, but I actually like it a lot. It has so much charm. It actually fits the era really well. Without sounding fake, but also kind of fake. I'll do anything to avoid using Tina Go cello. Even though I love it, it's just so overused. What it is this note. No, 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 no. Needs to be stretched. Somehow. That way. I guess take this, stretch it. Still too late. Actually sounds good now that it's kind of masked. That's the secret right there. Stretch it this way. Golly, who knew I could make that work? Oh my gosh. What a weird track. Nah, there's this. This should not be there. There. I'm so aggravated with this. There. That's why it's messing up, because there's a fade in blocking it. Gonna get this blasted line. There it is. We're just gonna make this come in later. Alright, here we go. Let's go to the top. You guys have been so patient with me today. Wow, this has all been one sitting. I haven't even taken a break. I'll break when I'm dead. No, I'll break when this is done. Here's the beginning. Who is it? Let's actually just kind of sit back and enjoy. I'm going to do a little bit of mixing. Turn off my mic while we're listening. Here we go. All right, friends. There we are. Boom. All right, I'm happy with that. I feel like came and conquered, did what I need to do, sat down for 2 hours and wrote a piece of music. So I'm pretty happy with that. It's simple, but that is exactly what the intent was for this scene, just to kind of create this somber, nostalgic scene. Glad we got to use some flute, some cello. Wasn't expecting to use that. English horn, a little glockenspiel from the GameCube era. Lots of fun stuff, and I feel like it fits and it feels good. So this piano really feels good. I'm just gonna underscore while we talk. All right, guys, remember, peace and love to you all. 93.5. Let me open up. I'm trying to keep scoring it. Remember, guys, simple felt piano is now available. For the low, low price. 49 USD. Regularly. 49 USD. I don't know why I turned to Batman. Check it out. Link in the description. If anybody interested, checking out Video Game Music Alliance. Link in the description as well. We're not currently open. We do that a few times a year. But we do have, excuse me, we do have courses available if you want to come check them out. We have a free music theory course by the one and only Jordan Mesker, who's actually right now in our live chat. And we do have, once a month, we do this composing challenge, and we have a listening party to listen to everybody's entries. Wow, I'm really slow at talking when I, you know, it's very, therapeutic. Ah, wrong note. All right, guys. Thanks for being a part of the show today. This is a lot of fun getting to score something that's so meaningful to me with the Legend of Dragoon. Go check it out. There's the Severed Chains version, as long as you have the legal ISO from the discs. I have the discs right over there. You can rip them really easily on your computer because they're CD-ROMs. You can do it with PS1, PS2. You can easily rip those and throw them into emulators and stuff. But anyway, Simple Felt Piano now on sale. Go check it out. Thanks, guys, for being a part of this. And I'll see you next time. Thanks so much. I guess I should play out like the final track. So here's the final track for everybody to enjoy. See you next time.